I just saw what you were talking about. And I was like, no way. And he goes, I just saw what you were talking about. And I was like, shit, yeah. So there was something seeing it that way.
We were actually contacted by a group out of California.
Yeah.
About the video. And we'll link to the video in the description for this if we can't migrate it to the Old Man Energy podcast site. And says, I'm not waiting in the line anymore. Follow me. And it was ropes at this time. It wasn't the barriers. It was ropes. And she starts stepping over the ropes and screaming. Hello and welcome to Old Man Energy. I am your host, Flint Anderson. And as normal, with me today is my lovely invisible co-host, Dez. We are grateful that you're here. Thanks for spending some more time with us. Thanks for all the feedback that you guys have been giving us too, the positive and the negative. All of it keeps us running forward. We don't like the negative quite as much, but hey, it comes with territory.
Who cares?
Yeah, who cares? Plus, we could be like Goggins and just read them out loud, and then that's the only thing we listen to when we run, but I'm not real sure. Do mental things that would just be bad. I don't think that'd be fun. So it is almost Halloween. So we're going to do a Halloween episode. We got a ton of show notes, all kinds of stuff to talk about. And oh, that's all a lie. We're just going to talk. We'll start off. This is literally our favorite holiday. What do you think?
My favorite by far.
Oh, it's awesome. It's awesome. I got my Halloween Horror Night shirt on. You can kind of see it. Let's stand up. Ooh, there we go. All right. Yeah, so this is the only time I've worn this shirt, and I don't even know what year it's from, but we normally, when we had kids, we had masks and partial Halloween costumes all over the place. They'd wear them off and on all year long. I
got a whole box full of Halloween costumes.
Yeah, well, they're not here.
Oh, well, I didn't know that's what you wanted.
Well, this is a spontaneous Halloween episode that we've been trying to record for 2 weeks. Surprise! So what's your favorite part about Halloween, Des? I got the glare of doom. Doom, doom, doom.
My favorite part of Halloween, I like all of it. I like putting out our Halloween decorations, which I'm not doing this year because I'm being an ass, but...
You? Being an ass? No.
I like going trick-or-treating with the little ones. When they hit about 6, 7, 8, no, I don't like going because that's the age where they want to hit every single house there is.
What's different when they're younger?
Well, because you can guide them and just take them to certain houses. They don't know any better. About 7, 8, 9, they become aware.
If the light's on, they're giving stuff away.
And then, so you got a few years of doing that. And then they're teenagers, they can go on their own. It's like once they hit teenagers, like 13, 14, you only got like a couple years and then they're done.
They kind of start going on their own then too. As soon as we had the golf cart, and our golf cart's not the white cart with the bag on the back. It's ridiculous. That's a good story. It doesn't really have much to do with Halloween, but it's funny. So Des wanted a golf cart forever. Like how long? A couple years?
Well, probably longer than that.
Well, for camping.
It's Florida. Everybody has a golf cart.
Everybody has a golf cart in Florida. You're supposed to. It's like you move to Florida, you're issued a golf cart. That's not true. You have to buy it. But anyway, she wanted, and I didn't want anything else to fix, but the campgrounds we went to just had so much walking. They were ridiculous. So anyway, finally one day she's like, look, she said, just give me a golf cart. I don't care what kind it is. You can have whatever you want. And me being the incredibly subtle person that I am, I ordered this obnoxious monstrosity. Well, we thought it was at the time, 6-inch lift, painted black, red and black seats, chrome brush guard. I thought it had a lot of chrome on it when we bought it. Anyway, it was obnoxious. I went and picked it up.
It still is being obnoxious.
Oh, it's so much more obnoxious now. I pulled up in the driveway with it. I was proud. I was like, yeah, it's my golf cart. It's awesome. She walks outside. This thing was so big, I had to back it on the trailer. Because I had a little ostensibly golf cart trailer. It didn't fit. I had to back it on the trailer. I pulled up and she walked outside the front door. She looked at me. She said, you son of a bitch. And walked right back inside.
It's my golf cart, though.
But she was happy. She had a golf cart. Since then, we've upgraded it. It now has LEDs. It has a big stereo, backlit LED speakers. It's
Light bar.
It's got light bar on it. Diamond plate rocker panels, which that had when I bought it. We replaced the floorboard, the rubber mat with diamond plate. It's got stickers all over it. Thing's stupid obnoxious. We got some stories. But anyway, relevant to Halloween. So the little ones all like riding on the golf cart anyway. Well, Halloween time comes. They like the golf cart because they don't have to walk between houses. And another part about Florida that may not be true in some other parts of the country is the yards here in some of the neighborhoods are absolutely freaking massive. Like it could take you 40 minutes to walk 3 or 4 houses in some of these neighborhoods. So
that's stretching it a little bit. Come on.
I don't think so. Not if you're going up to each one, knocking on the door, begging for food. So we'd get on the golf cart, we'd take the little ones around, even when they were really small, and you'd have mom there with them dressed up or what have you. There was one time, Nick Nack and Kirsty, they were dressed up like butterflies. That was insanely cute. And how old was Nick Nack then?
They were Ghost, I think, too.
They were Ghost one year too. The little ones would ride with us, and then occasionally the teenagers that were roaming the neighborhood. And we knew all of them at that point because there was always an older brother or a younger brother or sister. And they would hop on or they'd catch up and share their loot. And I don't know, it was just fun for 2 or 3 hours in the evening.
Yeah, I don't have that anymore.
We get to know the folks. Sometimes it was the only times we talked to our neighbors, which I'm not really proud of that. But
I'm okay with it.
The kids knew where all the full-size candy bars were. That was actually our next door neighbor at the time. And I asked him one time, I was like, why do you give out full-size candy bars? He said, because the kids always come and I love the costumes and I love how happy they are. And it's just a lot of fun. And sometimes they'll come back 2 or 3 times trying to fool me, but I give them candy anyway.
Oh, Mr. Tom. He's passed away. He passed away a couple of years ago.
Just a super nice guy, genuinely loved people. That guy was awesome. He was our next door neighbor forever. So yeah, that was Halloween. And we got another Halloween story about Ashton. He was 4. He was an Advent Lutheran. He was in a church preschool VPK. And we found a glow-in-the-dark green skeleton Halloween costume at a garage sale, like in August. Do you remember that?
I do. He found it.
He found it, wanted it. I don't even know if we paid for it. I think they just gave it to him because he was so excited. He wanted to put it on there. And I might have let him. It didn't really matter. So all these other VPK little church kids come out on their Halloween costume parade, and we got Jesus, and we got Noah, and we got an angel, and we got a green glow-in-the-dark skeleton. And his hood was hot. The skull was hot. So he didn't have that on. So he's just walking out grinning.
He was great.
That kid, more than any, loved Halloween. And I don't know, Gary was the same thing like 4 years in a row, wasn't he?
Yeah, Scream.
He was Scream.
Oh, like Jesus. He was Scream. Oh, my God. Every freaking year.
We would just have to buy a bigger costume. And then they'd use the robes for other costumes. But it wasn't just the kids. Des and I have enjoyed Halloween over the years too. And we still do. We still like it. This year's a little different. First year with, Ashton's still around. John's still in town. Gary's still in town too, but we don't interact with them as much as we used to. So I don't know what's going on with them for Halloween. Ashton will probably be working because the tips will be really good that night.
Hopefully.
We've always taken the kids out, taking them trick-or-treating. And then we've usually gone to a Halloween party. Years ago, Des had a custom pirate costume. And this is before cosplay was a huge thing online. She went to different sites, ordered the specific corset, a couple different peasant shirts. It was a kick-ass costume. We'll have to find a picture of that somewhere.
I was a pirate for quite some years. I don't know where I lost them. I had my my wrist brace. Remember my leather ones that I ordered?
Oh, yeah. You had the bracers.
I don't know. I think I lost those in St. Augustine at a party.
Oh, my God. That was a long time ago.
That was a long time ago.
That was.
And then we were, one year we were, you were Sid Haig.
Try not to be shocked.
What's the character's name?
I played Captain Spaulding.
Captain Spaulding. I did Flint's makeup for him. And then I wanted to be Reagan from The Exorcist. So that's when I started.
That's a hell of a combination.
That's when I started dabbling in makeup and all that other kind of stuff. And that was a fun evening. I learned a lot about putting on makeup, the theatrical makeup that year. And it just has gotten better over the years.
Oh, that was the year you made all the scars on the mirror.
Yeah.
That was cool. And then you saved them. Why did you save them?
I don't know, because I made them. Jesus.
They were like Christmas time. We had this mirror with all these scars all over
What? It wasn't scars. It was like wounds. It was like open wounds. Remember?
Oh, they weren't healed yet. They were just wounds. They were cool.
Yeah, they were just open wounds.
But
and
not
then,
at Christmas time.
I remember the kids coming up because we were at the little pub we went to for the Christmas or the Halloween party, and the kids came up because it was right after Halloween. Kirsty had taken them trick or treating, I believe. I remember we chased the kids around the parking lot.
They were terrifying. Ashton wasn't afraid of us. Ashton wasn't afraid of us. I loved going as Captain Spaulding because in case you haven't noticed the resemblance, I'm starting to look more and more like Sid Haig the older I get.
God, quit doing that to yourself. You do not.
Really? Okay, so give us some feedback in the comments. Let us know. Also, let's see if we can maybe throw a picture of me in costume up there and a picture of him side by side. That'd be cool. Yeah, Ashton wasn't afraid. He loved it. Who was running? Gary was scared.
They were all scared.
And then Haley was pretending to be scared. Beautiful thing about being Captain Spaulding or a creepy clown or anything like that is as the night goes on, and it's hot in Florida on Halloween as a general rule, just for those of you that don't know. So if you get hot, you get sweaty, your makeup gets smeared, it doesn't matter.
It looks even better.
It looks even better. The worse your makeup looks, the creepier you look.
It's either hot or it's damn raining. It's never chilly. You never have to it's the worst.
Yeah.
Think about it.
Yeah, it's either hot or it's raining. So we were speaking of Haley, and Haley to this day is not huge. I think if she's 5 foot tall, I'll be surprised, maybe 100 pounds. She's tiny, but she's never been afraid of anything. She's always been mean as hell. We took her. She wasn't going to. We went to Universal. She was way too young to go to Halloween Horror Nights, so we didn't take her to Halloween Horror Nights. But we went to Universal, and occasionally they'll bring the characters out just for photo ops and things like that. We're coming through City Walk, and it must have been after they were closed. They must have been bringing the characters out for the event. Because this stilt walker comes up, and this guy he was massive even for a stilt walker and had hand stilts as well. Just a really creepy looking dude. He had a mask on the top of his head, so when he put his head down, it looked one way, and when he looked up, it was another. And she walked up to this thing, and he was easily 10 feet tall.
So he was taller than that. She was little too.
She was maybe, 6 or 7? If she was that old. She walks right up to him and puts her hands on her hips and stares at him and says, "I'm not scared."
She bowed up at him.
And then she bowed up at him like she was going to fight him.
I was like, oh,
it's like, what is going on? The dude almost broke character. I was impressed that he kept it, but we have the best photo op because she turned around and took a picture, and then he took his hands and wrapped the cape around her. So all you could see was her little head poking out of this giant dude's costume. And he got down just as low as he could to take a picture with her. And she was just happy as anything. But that girl was not afraid of him for anything. I'm not scared of you.
Okay, you want to know what drives me nuts about Halloween?
Sure. Tell us what drives you nuts about Halloween.
Hey guys, 2 weeks before Halloween, all these people get online and they start saying, guys, you better start checking your neighborhoods. Make sure there's no crazies in your neighborhood. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh my God.
It's drives me nuts.
Because the pedophiles that live close to you are not dangerous any other time of the year?
You should be that way 365 days a year, not just on Halloween. Drives me absolutely nuts when they started. You know what? I don't know. I've always got my head on a swivel, I guess, and I'm not paranoid. It's just in my blood. It's in my blood. But come on, guys, 365, not just one night.
Or check your kids' candy for razor.
Oh my God. I have I'm 52. I've been trick-or-treating since I was whatever. I have yet to ever known anybody or ever had that problem happen.
Not once.
Have you?
No. Now, we always checked the kids' candy just to make sure there wasn't any in there that were open that looked tampered with or anything like that.
Now, are there sickos out there? Absolutely. But the whole fear-mongering drives me nuts.
Well, and even sometimes occasionally kids get a caramel apple or a candy apple. You know how you solve that problem? You cut it open. Just cut it up and let them have it.
Do you remember when the hospitals used to let you take it up there and x-ray the candies?
Oh, my God.
Do you remember that?
Yes. And all the Karens in the neighborhood. You didn't x-ray your children's candy?
You're going to get some bad shit for that one.
You're going straight to hell.
It's like, come on, guys.
No, we never x-rayed our kids' candy. And guess what? They all survived to adulthood.
And we drank out of water hoses.
We let them drink out of water hoses. Pretty sure they peed in the pool.
They probably did. Little shits. What's your favorite scary movie?
Oh my God. Okay, I'm going to reserve the. I love scary movies, guys. I love horror movies. Being raised in a church household and not allowed to watch anything rated G until I finally started sneaking it around 12 or 13. Sorry, Mom. Oh, I that's hard to say. Do you remember the first scary movie we watched together?
The two of us?
Yeah, the two of us.
Is the Out of the Mouth of Madness?
Into the Mouth of Madness.
In the mouth. You know, I still can't tell you what that's about because
we went to sleep.
I fell asleep. I did. I fell asleep. What is it about?
That was back in the VHS and chill days.
Oh, let's get a VHS and chill. We actually did get a VHS and chill.
You had to go to the store.
Asleep. I fell asleep. I was like, that's the best I slept in probably forever.
That was a pretty stressful time in your life. But no, we watched In the Mouth of Madness, and I really enjoyed that movie. I've watched it since then, and it hasn't aged terribly well. It kind of has, but it's all right. That was a pretty scary movie. It. The new, which one you like? The old Tim Curry It? You like the new It movies? Which version of It is your favorite?
I don't remember the original all that much with Tim Curry. I mean, I know it, but I don't remember it like I do the newer ones. And I like both of those equally. I like the first one the most. Who's the guy that played It?
Kurt.
I don't even know his name.
Damn it.
But he did a phenomenal job.
Oh my goodness, yes.
Those were great.
I can't remember his name. I'll look it up. Favorite horror movie, man. I don't know. I like slasher movies. House of a Thousand Corpses is one of my favorite movies. I took Kyle to that way too young. He remembers that to this day. He liked it. He thought he was getting away with something, but.
Well, I think that's why he liked it, because he thought he was getting away with something, which he was. But
he absolutely was. He had no business there.
Our kids were not sheltered. We didn't shelter them for anything. They might have screwed a few of them up, but they weren't sheltered. They were able to watch scary movies. But the thing about it was with them is they would what was it? What's the word I'm looking for here? They would cover their own eyes. They would
self-censor.
Yeah, they would self-censor themselves because we'd look over and so it was fine. And they would do that for movies that had nudity too, like the boobs and stuff like that. I mean, we didn't let them watch. We let them. Let me go back.
Yeah,
we let them watch really scary movies, but we didn't let them watch nasty movies. So if they were watching a movie and there was like a nip slip or something like that, or if they were like people were kissing or something like that, the kids would like cover their eyes and look away, which is really cute. Do you remember that?
I do. I remember that. And then the boys they'd start peeking between their fingers and think we didn't notice. The girls might have done that too. I never really noticed with the girls too much. Before we get too far down this rabbit hole of movies, I still will answer your question. We had a ghost in our house once.
People don't believe in that.
I know, but the video is on my YouTube, and I think we need to migrate it to the Old Man Energy YouTube as well.
So we lived in this house for years. We lived there for 14 years, and the house, it was a really cool house. I wish we would have bought it, but I'm glad we didn't. I'm glad we didn't buy the house.
It's too big now.
Well, actually, it's kind of just the right size for us right now for what we want to do. But anyways, so we would go out back, and we had this burn barrel that we would go out and we'd just sit around and we'd drink beer and we'd have fire because we like sitting out back. In Florida, you have a fire. I don't care if it's 110 degrees. You still have a fire at night.
I made the fire pit. Made myself.
So we were outside and we'd have friends over and stuff like that. And Joey was over a lot. And we'd sit out by the fire and I started noticing movement in the kitchen. And I knew that the kids were asleep and we were all outside. It was like usually the three of us and maybe a couple other adults out there. And then I kept noticing it and nobody would notice it. Do you remember that? You never saw it. And then I guess it was probably a couple months later, we were sitting there and Joey goes, I just saw what you were talking about. And I was like, no way. And he goes, I just saw what you were talking about. And I was like, shit, yeah. So there was something, and I know people don't believe in this, something from our kitchen and it would like move from the dining room through the kitchen. It was always right to left, right to left, right to left. Just all the time. No other way but right to left. And it was just intermediate, just every once in a while. Didn't happen every night, but it happened. And other strange things would happen in the house. Kirsty, our daughter, when she still was at home, she was in high school. She also like had really weird, like, it was just the two of us that usually, her and I, that would have these experiences. She was sitting in the front room and there was a bag on an old console TV, and she was sitting there playing on her phone, and the bag started rustling. And we're daylight, guys. We're like 3:00 in the afternoon. And so she pulled her phone out and she started videoing and caught exactly what I had been seeing in the kitchen, from the dining room through the kitchen, in the foyer area. Very tall, dark shadow. But this time it was moving from left to right. And she caught it. And I don't know where the clip is. I remember because at the time I was doing the ghost hunting with friends of ours, and I had a program on my computer. Remember that, where I could slow it down?
Yep.
And I slowed it down, and you could see whatever this was. You could see it was like it's like its arms were moving and its feet were moving, but it moved that quick. When we videoed it, you'd had to slow it down to see the actual movement, and that was like the scariest thing, seeing it that way.
We were actually contacted by a group out of California.
Yeah.
About the video, and we'll link to the video in the description for this if we can't migrate it to the Old Man Energy podcast site.
Yeah, I don't remember the show at the time. It was one of the ghost shows. They do a lot of the debunking and stuff like that. And we sent them what we had, and they said, well, it's not actually enough footage for them to put it on the show, but it was really cool footage, obviously.
Or they liked it, but it wasn't enough for them to fly out and do any kind of investigation or anything.
So, I mean, but we've had some really weird things happen in that house. And then over the years, it just kind of tapered off and just kind of went away.
Surprise.
Yeah. A lot of people didn't want to come to our house, and I was okay with that.
Yeah, in case you haven't figured out by episode 6 or 7, whatever this is, we are insanely eccentric. Bill Skarsgård is the one that played it.
He did a phenomenal job in that.
He honored Tim Curry, because Tim Curry did a phenomenal job in the original miniseries, but Bill Skarsgård was just freaking creepy. I've got to watch
the original one again, because Tim Curry, he's so creepy. Remember that episode of Criminal Minds where he was in that camper?
Oh, okay. That was like a 2-part episode. That was a horror movie in and of itself. That was terrifying.
That one scared me, and I don't get scared, and I like watching that kind of stuff. That man can like really play a character. He like scared the shit out of me.
Yeah, he was
slobbering. Do you remember that?
Wait a minute. Wait, are we still talking about Tim Curry? Or are we talking about Bill Skarsgård?
Tim Curry. Remember when he was in the camper and he was talking and his teeth were all nasty and he was like slobbering also?
Oh, yeah. Well, Bill Skarsgård did that with It.
Yeah, he did that with It.
He was slobbering too.
I think it's just a thing about slobber.
Maybe that's terrifying. I don't know.
He licked her to death.
Kyle got introduced to Creep Show, because Creep Show was not scary, and with Tales from the Crypt and all that, we let the kids watch that when they were younger.
Large Marge.
Oh, that was Pee-wee's Playhouse.
Okay, but it's the same thing. It was the same with the truck driver. So remember?
No, she ran over him in the car.
Oh, it was in the car. You know what?
Ignore me. One of the episodes, if you haven't seen Creep Show yet, go watch Creep Show. It's Stephen King. It's really good. 1 and 2, and I think this one was from 2, if I'm not mistaken, but it might be. It's been years since I watched it.
I was putting 2 movies together.
Anyway, it doesn't matter. The end of the thing is the dude that'd been chasing her, the monster, was like all just messed up, and he was attacking her. But it was 1980s puppetry, and it didn't age very well. So Kyle would go around telling people that he licked her to death. He's like, "Mom, dude, how did he licked her to death?" So then we'd ask him in public, "Hey, how did that episode of Creep Show end?" Oh, he licked her to death. That was a running joke in the house for like 10 years.
Okay, so Flint, for the people who hadn't seen it, she runs him over in the vehicle. She thinks she gets away. She gets back to her house. And who cares? It's such a cheesy movie. He comes out from underneath the vehicle and attacks the lady, and he has no lower jaw, and it's just his tongue.
Like 50 miles later.
And so that's Kyle's like, You lick her to death? See? Okay, so my most favorite scary movie is...
Wait, let me guess.
Okay, go ahead.
The Exorcist.
Okay, I can't watch that.
She hates The Exorcist.
The Exorcist really does. It scares me. That's one of the movies ever that I've ever watched. I cannot finish watching. I've never been able to finish watching it. And now they got this. Is it a new movie coming out?
Yeah, there's a new version of it.
The Exorcist. And so, anyways, this year Halloween Horror Nights has the Exorcist house, and it's based on the new one that's coming out. And is it the two little girls? I don't even understand. I never even read about it. But anyways. So I'm like, nope, I'm gonna do Halloween Horror Nights. I'm gonna do The Exorcist. We come through and started the house, and they start with the music, and that's all she wrote for me. I'm not a scared person. I mean, if I hear something and I'm one of those people that runs towards stuff, The Exorcist is one of the only things I think that scares the shit out of me. And that little girl come around that corner, and I was like, oh hell no.
She had to go to the chiropractor for 2 weeks after the first the house in Halloween Horror Nights this year. It was bad.
It's scary to me. So I don't even got. I already got.
Okay, your favorite movie.
I don't even know
What's your favorite horror movie?
Horror movie. I don't know. You know what? I'd have to go back to all the older like 80s ones. I don't like the newer slasher films, but I like the older ones because they're not as realistic. I like, like Jason and Michael Myers and all those, Freddy Krueger.
Freddy,
I liked all of those, but I didn't like a few of the Freddy Krueger ones because they just got so stupid. Like the Dream Warriors, which I think is your favorite.
That's my favorite.
I remember watching that going, what the hell did they do?
And Don Dokken did the theme song for that. Are you kidding me?
It was so bad to me.
How are we even married?
I don't know.
Oh my God.
It's almost like... I almost said it. Do you know what I was fixing to say?
No, please enlighten us.
I almost went political there for a minute.
Oh God. All right, let's not go there. We definitely wouldn't be married. No, Nightmare on Elm Street 3 is my favorite. That bar none, that's my favorite one. It's not my favorite horror movie though. House of 1,000 Corpses is up there as one of my favorite.
That one's disturbing.
I like all three of those, and yes, I like them because they're disturbing. And I've consumed so much slasher horror over the years. Nothing really impacts me or leaves me uncomfortable anymore. It's weird. I love Halloween Horror Nights. I can walk through those, but I don't ever jump scares. Just don't do it.
They got you a few times. Don't say never.
Okay, not never. Like the Stranger Things house, and I'm not. There's one part of it that I jumped at, and I'm not going to ruin it for anybody because Halloween Horror Nights is still going on. But maybe do a follow up on that, talking about the houses in there. There was one other house that I had a little jump at. Which one was it?
Hell, I don't know. All of them were pretty good. All of them this year are really good. If you can go to Halloween Horror Nights, it's fixing to where are we at? We got 2 more weeks of it?
Yeah, 2 or 3. I don't know.
Anyways, if you can go and you're here in Florida or wherever they have, I think they have them in California. I think there's one in California.
One in Hollywood too.
Hollywood, go. They are so good this year. I know ours is good. My favorite house this year, I really liked the Exorcist ones because it did scare me, and I don't normally get scared. So I really did like that house. The Yeti. What is that? Is it the campground? What Yeti something?
Campground of Terror or something like that.
That one was good. And the costumes for that one are so great. So we were waiting in line to get into the house, and it was character change. And usually when they do character changes, whenever they're moving from the house to their break area, they usually put black capes on so you can't see their costumes. Well, the Yeti, you can't wear black capes because they are so big.
And not just the costumes, folks. The men inside these costumes are massive.
So we got to see there's probably about 10 or 12 of them that come through, and they were switching out. By far one of the best things I think in Halloween Horror Nights this year. What do you think? Oh,
absolutely. That was awesome. And that was, we were standing in line that crossed in front of us. It wasn't even part of the show, but yeah, that house was really, really cool.
So they got a good, I'm sure all of them got in there and had a really good feeling because they had 200, 300 people waiting in queues, watching them, and everybody was like hooting and hollering and for them because, I mean, it was a spectacular sight. And you think that those costumes are so elaborate, but it's so dark in there. You think that, they could probably cut corners stuff. Oh, hell no. They are the best looking costumes. Those were some good costumes.
They were really good costumes. They were on par with the Alice in Deadland from 2008. The level of those costumes. And my favorite Halloween Horror Nights was 2008 so far. And I'm not going to talk a lot about that, but those costumes were elaborate. That was the year they had the Doomsday House.
Why aren't you? I love that one.
I'm still trying to figure out what my favorite horror movie is.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. We can talk about that one. I mean, the Doomsday House was 2008 was when they first started having interactive. Apps weren't really a thing. I mean, they were kind of, but you still had some flip phones, and you still had camera phones.
I had a BlackBerry.
I got a camera phone. Yeah,
I had a BlackBerry.
I had a BlackBerry too. But you would go through the queue at certain ones. It was Doomsday, and a couple of the others had them, and you'd text a number. And as you got closer in the queue, it would send you updates like you were getting live news updates. And then as you went through the queue waiting, they had part of the Doomsday movie playing. You went into the house. It was done up like the gates. And the house was just done incredibly well. Totally interactive experience and completely immersive experience. That was fun. That was bar none. That was my favorite haunted house and has been since then. I think that was the year they had the Wizard of Oz too, where the flying monkeys were going back. I
don't know if it was the same. Yeah, I don't know if it was the same one, but they had like between the two, one of the main strips there between the big buildings. They had monkeys, the flying monkeys, and they were on. They had, I don't even know what they'd call it, cables. They had cables up there.
It was the Wicked Witch of the West Castle.
And they were flying across. That was pretty good. That was really good at night. During the day it was, but you had those damn monkeys flying.
And the twisted Alice in Wonderland characters were, wow, they were just wicked looking.
We have pictures of that somewhere. We got to find the pictures so
we'll dig those up and get them posted somewhere too. But
and they had the
Absalom. They had the caterpillar.
The caterpillar up on the big mushroom. And we're talking about a mushroom that was, how big do you think that mushroom was?
Oh my God. I don't know. 10 feet tall. 12?
Well, the guy was in a costume for the caterpillar, and the caterpillar was huge, of course. And there was a guy in it, and he was sitting on top of a mushroom. So you can imagine now how big this mushroom was.
Similar concept to the Pumpkin Lord from last year.
Yeah.
He'd sat on the corner and he just talked shit to the crowd.
But that was back before. Well, I'm sure people got offended that year, but he was talking some crazy shit to the crowd. They didn't care. I'm sure they gave him like free reign. I mean, he wasn't cussing anybody, but he was telling people they were fat and people that needed sandwiches.
It was hilarious.
It was great. I mean, he was just a rude character. That was a good year.
That was 2008 was a good year. That was a lot of fun.
Was that the year that I skipped all the queues and? I'm probably the reason they have the fences now and not the cables.
Okay. So back in the day, they used to have ropes, and this is before we bought fast passes because we didn't like to wait in line. And they'd have beer carts every so often, and I mean it wasn't a thing. You'd go, you grab a beer, you grab a drink, and then you go catch back up with your party.
But you couldn't.
Well, we'd been waiting in line for like an hour.
But hold on, you couldn't buy. You'd only buy beer for yourself, but. If you when you walk by, you'd say, okay, I'm with him, and him. As long as the whoever it was, the cart attendant saw who the people were and checked your ID, you could grab all the beers because the line was continuously moving. That way you didn't lose your place in line. That's very important.
So we'd been in line for 45 minutes to an hour. At this point, we still had at least an hour or more wait. It was one of the more popular houses. And Des picks an empty beer can up in one hand, holds her beer in the other, and says, I'm not waiting in the line anymore. Follow me. And it was ropes at this time. It wasn't the barriers. It was ropes. And she starts stepping over the ropes and screaming at the top of her lungs. Tatiana, I told you to wait, you bitch. I only was gone 5 minutes. How did you move so fast, Tatiana? And repeating this while skipping lines. And we're following her like, what the hell is going on?
It was you and Jackie and Wendy.
By the time we got to the front of the line, people were telling us they'd seen her and helping us look. We walked the crowd sideways. It was stupid. And I remember throwing the beer can away, and the guy going, "Yeah, I think she went in a couple people ahead, man. Go ahead, you're good." And I'm like, what the
We skipped like 100 people.
It was way more. We skipped like 12 queues of 100 people. We skipped so many people. It was bad. I'm pretty sure we're the reason they give you tickets now.
Oh, they do tickets. We only did it one time, only one time, and I wanted to do it. I wanted to see if it would work, and it worked. And
it was insanely
we never
creative.
found her, and
that was so funny. I remember the time we went. It was a clown year. They had Jack the Clown, and Kirsty came out, and the zombies surrounded her before we got out of the house.
Yeah, I remember that. We took one of our daughters. She went one year, and it was right when they started the whole zombie. It
was Walking Dead. It was one of the early Walking Dead.
I think it was the very first year they started Walking Dead.
Yeah, because it wasn't even a house. It was a scare zone.
No, well, it wasn't. No, because remember, they just kind of roamed around.
Yeah.
There in the beginning. So they have scare zones if you've never been. But these guys were like, some of them would come out of the scare zones. I don't think they can anymore because they kind of like, things have changed. But anyways, so we went... I don't know if we went through a haunted house or if we went and rode Men in Black. I think we went and rode Men in Black. And we told Kirsty, we're like, she goes, I'm just going to ignore them. I was like, well, good luck with that. Because if you ignore them, they're really going to come after you. Sure enough, she tried to ignore him. We came out and she had probably about 6 or 7 zombies surrounding her. And she was screaming bloody murder.
Terrified. That poor girl.
She's a big old pansy. What are you talking about?
Kirsty, if you're listening to this, I'm really sorry about that.
I'm not. I thought it was funny.
We didn't do it, but it sucks. She was terrified.
Have you ever seen that meme where the person's like throwing up in the toilet and then the other person's got the broom and they're patting them on the back going, there. You know which one I'm talking about?
Yes, I know which one.
I got the broom.
You're just a bundle full of compassion.
I'm just a dick.
We used to scare the kids at the house too. It was an ongoing thing. There's a dead lady with no legs.
Oh, okay. So the older kids when they were little, they were so bad. They weren't bad, but they were like, when they would test you, and they were scared. So Casey, the oldest, his scare, he was really scared of Pumpkinhead. And that's back when Pumpkinhead came out. So that kind of tells you how old he was. He busted out a window on the farm one time trying to get in the back because I shut the door.
Back when she was a chicken farm.
Back on the chicken farm. I went running into the house and told him, I was like, Pumpkinhead's out here. And I shut the door. And he punched through the glass. Oh, my God. He was so scared.
Well, shit, I would have, too. That was a dick move.
We did it to the kids. I scared them all the time. I was scared as a kid. I'm going to scare them.
What about Ashton last month?
What'd I do?
So we're in bed, and the way the house is laid out is if the door's open, we can see down the hallway.
So when the older kids were little, I tell them to go to bed. They would screw off. They'd get out of bed. They do typical, normal kid BS. But there were 3 of them. They were pretty close together. So they would like feed on each other. And then one would get up, they'd all get up. And it was like, So I remember one day I was sitting there and I told the kids, I was like, guys, if you get out of bed one more time, I'm gonna sick the lady, the dead lady with no legs on you, and she's gonna crawl at you down the hall. That was enough visual for the kids to stay in bed. So that became a running thing with the kids.
Better parenting through terror.
Oh, it was crazy. So Kyle, who is now 29, he came at me and he goes, I ain't scared of the dead lady with no legs anymore. I'll just climb a tree. And I looked him dead in the eye and I went, she's missing legs, not arms. She will climb that tree. Freaked him out again. So anyways, then the older kids, they would bring this up and they would do it to the younger kids and they would tell the stories and they would scare them. And Ashton, he still lives here at the house. He's 18. About a month ago, we're sitting there and he doesn't know we can hear him. And he's like rumbling around in the kitchen doing something. Well, he's heading to I'm sure he's getting something to eat. So he's heading to his bedroom. And all we hear is him high stepping. This kid's got some long legs. You can tell he's high stepping and he's going, dead lady, dead lady, dead lady. So I have done my job.
We asked him the next morning. He goes, I don't know. I heard something. I got scared and I started walking fast. Or walking tall. That's what he said. I started walking tall.
He's picking them up and putting them down. So anyways, our kids are a little twisted because of that.
We go camping, and one of the more popular camping places for kids out here is Hannah Park. It's a campground right on the ocean. It's beautiful, but they have some massive parking lots because during the day it's beach access. So we'd go for we all had bicycles because you couldn't have a golf cart there. I don't know. They're gonna get with the times. Come on, city of Jacksonville. We had bicycles. And we got some stupid bicycle stories in Hannah Park, but the best ones is the zombie rides. We did that at Hannah Park and Salt Springs.
Yeah, Salt Springs, we had a casualty. Remember that?
Oh my God. You wait until okay, let me tell what a zombie ride is and you tell that part.
Okay.
You wait till it's dark. So dusk is the best to start because then you can trick the kids, especially the little ones, because it's still daylight. I was like, okay, we're going to go on a zombie ride, but don't worry, it's not dark. It'll be scary. If it gets dark, it's going to be a problem. But it's dusk and kids are kind of stupid. So we all go riding bikes and it gets dark and they start getting scared. And of course you're in the woods, so it makes noise and everything else. And the further you ride, the more terrified they get. And you don't have to bait them much. You just bait them a little bit and then their imagination takes over.
Greatness.
And boy, they're riding their bikes like crazy. It does not matter how big those tires are. Those kids are getting it.
They sleep really well, though, when we get done.
Oh, yeah, because we took them all over the campground.
So Hannah Park, though, it's a park from like early, like, what is it, 50s, 40s? I don't even know when Hannah, it's like old. Time. And back in the day, I mean, it was like a happening place here at Jacksonville, Jack's Beach. And they needed parking for it. So you have like 5 or 6 huge parking lots, double parking lots actually, for this, because back in the day, I mean, it was the place to go. Now you maybe have one person parking in it. And we're talking about parking spots for like 50 to 75 cars a piece. And there's like 6 different lots going down the beach.
It's huge.
And so it's got all it's at night. There's nobody there because it's a campground at this time. It's a city park.
Plus crossover trails through the woods.
Crossover. But the lights are all still old and they kind of flicker.
It's like the sodium arc, like.
Yeah. So you're going down through there and there's still animals. I mean, we've seen fox. What else have we seen there? There's all kinds of the small woodland creatures. Armadillos. Anyways, so we're riding down through there and we all get in a single file line. Flint is usually first and then I'm last because I like to talk shit to the kids. And so they we all start, pretty all right. Then I tell them to get in a tight formation and single file. And I tell them to be really quiet because if they don't, the zombies will hear us.
And the last thing a kid can do when told to be quiet in the dark is be quiet.
So I'm telling them, guys, be quiet. Did you hear that? Oh my God, did you hear that? You got to be quiet. You got to be quiet. We have a long line of, so it was Flint and at least 4 kids between us, maybe
Depending
5.
on how many friends they had with them.
And then myself, and it's dark. Yeah, they were tired by the time we got them home. They took a shower and they go right to bed.
That's scared to death.
We'd ride every single parking lot though.
Oh, okay. Tell about the casualty at Salt Springs. We did the same thing at several campgrounds, but these are the 2 main ones.
Oh, we took off. Nicole and Bobby were camping with us and had their 2 youngins with us. They were little. They were probably 6, 7 at the time.
Yeah, because Ashton was still big into Legos.
They were all sitting playing Legos, so they were pretty little. And I was like, "Hey guys, let's go do a zombie ride." And they're like, "Okay." Well,
Ashton knew what was up at this point.
Their kids weren't raised like our kids.
Oh my God.
I scared the shit out of one of them. I don't even know which one wrecked. We hadn't even got probably 15 feet from the campsite. He done wrecked his bike.
Kid.
We had to take him back.
He stripped nothing in his way. He flipped his bike. He got so scared, crying.
He skinned himself up. I was like, oh, okay, I need to tone it down a little bit. Ashley goes, let's go. We ended up going, I think. But yeah, he was, we scarred that kid, I think.
Oh my!
I don't even know which one it was. I don't know if it was. I don't know which child it was. It was one of theirs.
We could do a whole podcast on the antics of camping with Bobby and Nicole. All the stupid shit we did. Oh my God!
So, anyways,
we could do a whole year worth of podcast just on camping in general.
Those are scary, though.
Those were scary.
Not for us, for the kids. I like scaring the kids.
Have we ever done Halloween camping?
No.
Yeah, last year or 2 years ago, we were at Jenny, but it was just adults. It was just us. There's pictures of you sitting at the entrance to Jenny Springs beside skeletons.
That was just October. It wasn't Halloween. It was just October.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it wasn't because this is going to be the first year I have yet to put out any kind of decorations. I don't have not one decoration out.
And our yard's usually full.
Yeah, I have like witches. I have like I have a cauldron. I have these a Coven of Witches. I've got
Entire graveyard.
I've got Ghost. I've got
the big hanging thing from the.
Oh yeah, he's like really nasty.
We have an It wreath.
Yeah,
goes on, and it's getting old and ratty, so it looks even cooler.
I didn't put anything out this year. I'll give candy out if but there's this neighborhood there's like 4 kids in this whole neighborhood.
We're gonna give full-size candy bars away this year.
I'm gonna give them a car. You get a car. You get a car.
Hey, this is going out public. We're not really giving cars away. Maybe Hot Wheels. Maybe Hot Wheels.
Yeah, it's just not fun, but
maybe Hot Wheels. Grandkids now are into picking their costumes. They're all starting to get old enough to pick their costumes. And Sophie is one of our grandkids, but she's closer to Ashton's age than anything. So she's more. We treat her more like a kid than we do a grandkid.
She's fixing to be 17.
I know. Oh my God.
That's scary, isn't it?
And all the rest of our grandkids are under 6.
No, Griff's turning 7, right?
Yeah. Okay. 6 or under.
7. He's turning 8, I think.
Good God.
Hell, I don't even know.
No, I don't think he's going to be 8.
I don't know. There's 10 years. He's 7. There's 10 years between them. There's 7. So Sophie's 6, Griff's 7. Sophie's 7, almost 17. Griff's 7. Knick-Knack's going to be 6. Graceland is 4.
Yeah.
Baby Everly is 2.
I want to be a ghost.
Is that everybody?
I think so. God, I hope so.
Yeah.
The ones we know about.
Jeez, don't even get me started. That's scary too. But
so we still have some fun with the grandkids, but we don't have all the responsibilities. So we just kind of show up and give candy and maybe pay for costumes, which is kind of cool. I prefer that.
Yeah, I think that's one thing that didn't. I was ready for the kids to grow up, and I was ready for them all to move out, but I miss the Halloweens. I miss it, and I think that's probably why I'm just like, screw it this year, because there's no grandkids here. I mean, we got Graceland and Everly. They're around the corner, but they got other things they do with their grandma, the other grandma, because they live there in her house, and the other 2 are 45 minutes from here, and then Knick-Knack, she's all the way in Utah, so.
Yeah, it's different. We thought we were immune to the empty nester thing, but there's still a few times when it comes back, it's like, what the heck? This sucks.
Just the holidays.
Yeah.
Just the holidays.
But it doesn't make Halloween suck. Don't get me wrong. We still love Halloween. I've been mainlining horror films for a while, and you can watch horror movies other times other than Halloween. But they're all on sale right now, which is kind of cool. Okay,
wait, hold on. I got one more story. When the kids were little and I lived in Texas on the farm, they slept in a tent outside. They all wanted to sleep in a tent outside. And the thing there was, I think it was the Falk Monster.
It was the Falk Monster. That was East Texas. Louisiana too, I think.
I don't know. But anyways, the kids were in the tent and I don't know who did it. Somebody went out there and messed with the kids and shook the tent, and they were in it, scared the shit out of all 3 of them. They swear by God to this day that it was a Falk Monster, because I have not told them any different. And mind you, they're now 35, 31, and 28.
Surprise.
So, and they bring that story up and they'd look at me and I was like, I have no idea what you guys are talking about. They were little. They were like 6, 8, and what is it? 12?
Yeah.
Yeah. You're welcome, children.
The Falk Monster's equivalent to the skunk ape in Florida, or the Bigfoot. So, all right, guys, listen, we're going to wrap this one up. We talk about movies, books. I don't know. We're going to start doing more just back and forth talking, just sharing our lives and our stories. I think that gets a lot of response from you guys. If you want to hear more of that, cool. If you want to hear us talk about some other stuff, then let us know. Shoot us a message. As always, share this with somebody you think would enjoy it. That's what keeps us going.
Watch out for the lady with no legs.
Especially in the dark.
The dead lady.
The dead lady with no legs. Also follow Dez. She's easy to find. Look for her on my page. Love y'all. Peace.